Welcome back. All right, so 11 games on Saturday in the National Hockey League. We've got 3 matinee games and 8 evening games. So pretty easy to follow if you're trying to follow all the action on Saturday. Starting at 9:30 in the morning Pacific, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, we've got the Edmonton Oilers against Columbus. Columbus went into Edmonton on January 25th. They won in overtime 3-2. Edmonton's a much better team on the road. They're 32-19-8 overall. In the year of 2023 thus far, they're 12-3-6. So they've only lost 3 in regulation, but they've won 12 out of 21. So they're looking to get things going. And honestly, that big win over Pittsburgh felt like a big win. This is where you have to be worried about it being a trap game against a lower team. But since they've already lost against Columbus, I don't think the trap magnet works here. So they're 3 points back of Vegas, 2 points behind LA, and 2 points ahead of Seattle. It is a logjam in the Pacific. On the Columbus side of things, 18, 35, and 5. They're log jams at the bottom of the standings. They're 7, 13, and 3 in the year of 2023. They're 23 points behind Buffalo, Detroit, and Florida, who are all tied for that number 2 wild card. But Buffalo is the team that has the number 2 wild card spot right now. They are 13 points behind Montreal for second to last in the East. So they're pretty much assured of last in the East. They may end up being last overall, which would be great news. That would mean the worst that Columbus could draft is third. So you're not going to get Bedard. Fantilli probably goes second, but there's still going to be some star players at third. So it's great news for Columbus. 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, the New York Rangers and against the Washington Capitals. December 27th, Washington won 4-0. It feels like that was a lifetime ago. Washington is now selling players. So this is the second of 4 meetings. March 14th and April 2nd are the other 2 meetings. The New York Rangers, 33-16-9. In the calendar year of 2023, they're 14-4-3. So they've been quite good. They're 6 points back in New Jersey. They're 8 points ahead of the New York Islanders. On the Washington side, they're 28-26-6. In the year of 2023, they are 7-13-1. So that's a rough record. They're 2 points behind Buffalo, Detroit, and Florida. They're 1 point behind Pittsburgh. So that's 4 teams they'd have to jump past, and they don't have games in hand on all those teams. Really, Washington now, it looks like they've decided they're kind of done, even though they're only a couple points out of the playoffs. 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. We've got the Pittsburgh Penguins and the St. Louis Blues on December 3rd. Pittsburgh won this matchup at home 6-2. St. Louis has sold since then, and Pittsburgh should be very highly motivated after that really disturbing loss at home against Edmonton. They're 27-21-9 right now, but in the 2023 calendar year, they're 8-10-3. So it's been a rough go of it for Pittsburgh. They're 1 point behind Buffalo, Detroit, and Florida, and they're 1 point ahead of Washington in that schmoz that's the Eastern West wild card chase. For St. Louis, they're 26-28-4. In the calendar year of 2023, they're 9-11-1, so both teams below 500 since January 1st. They're 13 points behind Colorado for a playoff spot, and they're 5 points ahead of Vancouver. So St. Louis not making the playoffs. Pittsburgh may not make the playoffs. They cannot afford to keep winning at the rate they have been since January 1st. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, we got the Anaheim Ducks and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, Anaheim at home on December 6th won 4-3 in overtime over the Carolina Hurricanes. They're 18-34-4. Their record in 2023 is 8-11-3. So the record's almost the same as Pittsburgh's. Let that marinate for a moment. They're 26 points behind Colorado. They're 2 points behind Chicago in what's kind of become a race at the bottom of the West. On the Carolina side, they're 39-10-8. In 2023, they're 15-4-2. So they've been very, very solid. They're 5 points clear of New Jersey. They're now 11 points ahead of the New York Rangers. So, yeah, things are going pretty well. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific, Boston in against Vancouver. So, since Boston's playing Vancouver, I can wear Boston gear. They're 44-8-5. They're coming off that ugly win over Seattle, but it's a win. They're 16-4-1 in 2023, so that's still pretty good. It's not the same rate. It doesn't feel like it's the same rate as it was to start the season, but nobody's going to keep winning at that rate. They're 13 points ahead of Toronto. They're 17 points ahead of Tampa. I think they're going to win their division. Then there's Vancouver, not winning their division. They're 23-30-5 on the season, and in 2023 they're 7-13-2, so that's an ouch. They're 18 points behind Colorado for that last playoff spot in the West, and they're 2 points ahead of Arizona currently. So much closer to the bottom than to the top. 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific start between Ottawa and Montreal. This is the fourth and final meeting. Ottawa's won every meeting, but right now Montreal feels like it's playing better than Ottawa. December 14th, Ottawa wins by a score of 3-2. January 28th, it's a 5-0 victory, so no mercy magnet. And January 31st, it's a 5-4 victory for Ottawa. The Sens are 27, 26, and 4. So take those 3 wins off. They're 24, 26, and 4 when they don't play against Montreal. They're 11, 8, and 1 in 2023, which isn't bad, but it's not good enough to catch the teams they're trying to catch in the East. They're 6 points behind Buffalo, Detroit, and Florida. They're 2 points ahead of Philadelphia. On the Montreal side of things, they're 25, 29, and 4 in 2023. They're a respectable 10, 10, and 1. They're winning enough games to, stay relevant while not in the hunt. They're 10 points behind Buffalo, Detroit, and Florida, and they're 13 points ahead of Columbus. And I actually kind of like Montreal in this game because I think they're playing better than Ottawa right now, but we'll see how it goes. 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific start between Philadelphia and the New Jersey Devils. This is the fourth and final meeting between these two. On October 13th, Philadelphia won that famous Fire Lindy game 5-2. December 3rd, 3-2 win for New Jersey. Sorry, Lindy. December 15th, a 2-1 win for Philly. It's okay, Lindy. Don't worry about it. We're in the playoffs. So for Philadelphia, they're 23, 27, and 10. In the calendar year of 2023, they're 10, 10, and 3. So again, they're playing well enough. Just they're not catching anybody with a 500 record. They're 8 points behind Buffalo, Detroit, and Florida, and they're 2 points ahead of Montreal. So season's pretty much done for Philly, although they're winning enough games to stay within within single digits. Everybody's going to be within double digits, I would think, of a playoff spot. So New Jersey, 38, 15, and 5 on the season. In the year of 2023, they're 15, 4, and 3. So remarkable. 15, 4, and 3 here, 15, 4, and 2 here. New Jersey's actually gained a point on Carolina since the start of 2023. They're 5 points back at Carolina, so they're not making up enough ground. And they're 6 points clear of the New York Rangers. So going to be interesting to see how things go. Because again, 15, 4, and 3, 15, 4, and 2, 14, 4, and 3. The East has some very good teams in it. And here's your 16, 4, and 1 right there. Then at 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, so late start for Detroit. They're at home against Tampa. Detroit's already beaten Tampa twice. Detroit's looking to get back into a wild card spot past Buffalo, who are idle tomorrow. Detroit won 4-2 against Tampa Bay, and then December 21st they won 7-4. The 4-2 victory was ridiculous. I do believe in that one. They were outshot really badly, but they won. The fourth and final meeting between these teams will be April the 13th. Who knows? Maybe that'll be the game that's deciding whether Detroit does or doesn't make the playoffs. For Tampa Bay, they're 36, 17, and 4. In the year of 2023, they're 13, 6, and 3. They're 4 points behind Toronto. They're 12 points ahead of Buffalo and Florida. On the Detroit side of things, they're 28, 21, and 8. In the year of 2023, they're 12, 9, and 1. So they're winning enough games, and they're right in the hunt now. They're tied with Buffalo and Florida. They're behind Buffalo in the tiebreaker, but they're still ahead of Florida in the tiebreaker. They're 1 point ahead of Pittsburgh and 2 points ahead of Washington. Nobody saw that coming. Don't think anybody would have said at the start of the year, I think Detroit's going to finish ahead of Pittsburgh and Washington. I could have said it, but I don't think I could have said it and passed a lie detector test. And then at 10 Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific, lie detector tests don't really work. Anyways, I'm just saying. Probably wouldn't have been telling the truth. But we've got Calgary in against the Colorado Avalanche. Colorado is rolling. So for Calgary, they won the first meeting on October 13th, 5-2. That's when things were going really well to start the year for Calgary. On January 18th, Colorado wins 4-1. And Calgary's been shaky lately. So they're 27, 20, and 12. In the year 2023, the year we're residing in, 9, 7, and 5. So they've won less than half their games, but they're 2 games above 500 because that's how the NHL works. They're 3 points behind Calgary, or 3 points behind Colorado, but they've played 3 more games. So they have to win this game tomorrow. They cannot afford to fall 5 points back and know that the team they're chasing has 3 games in hand, and that they're the Colorado Avalanche. They're 4 points ahead of Nashville. So for Calgary, this could really be a tipping point tomorrow. Colorado 32, 19, and 5. This year, 13, 6, and 2. So since January 1st, they've been playing very well. And that doesn't include that. I think they're 12, 2, and 2 over their last 16. It's ridiculous. They're 3 points back of Dallas, 2 points behind Winnipeg, 1 point behind the Minnesota Wild, and 3 points clear of Calgary. So they're 3 points ahead of the playoff line, but they're also 3 points back of first in the division. And I think Colorado has a really good chance of ending up finishing first. The way that game went against Winnipeg, they just came out and decided, so we're winning this and we don't care what anybody thinks. 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 Pacific start between Dallas and Vegas. Dallas has to turn this around. They did beat Vegas on January 16th by a score of 4-0. The third and final meeting between these teams will be on April the 8th. So for Dallas, they're 30, 16, and 12 this year. 7, 7, and 6, and they're 2, 3, and 5 in their last 10. They're 1 point ahead of Winnipeg, 2 points ahead of Minnesota, and 3 points ahead of Colorado. Winnipeg rightfully should have passed them, but Winnipeg's lost 7 of their last 11, and all 7 of those losses being in regulation. On the Vegas side, they're 35, 18, and 5. This calendar year, since January 1st, they are 10, 6, and 3. So they are above 500, and they've been playing really well lately. They're 1 point ahead of LA, they're 3 points ahead of Edmonton, and 5 points ahead of Seattle. So very tight division. Vegas wants to keep winning, and Dallas needs to figure this out, because if they don't, Minnesota and Colorado, we're going to put them in the rearview mirror, and there's the possibility Winnipeg turns it around as well. So we'll see what happens. Also at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, the one that everybody's going to care the most about is Chicago and San Jose. So Chicago 5-2 win October 15th against the Sharks. On January 1st, San Jose wins that matchup 5-2. Chicago 20, 32, and 5. However, since the turn of the calendar, they've been 12, 9, and 1. So if you're on Team Tank for Chicago, has to be frustrating since January 1st, because they've been winning more games than expected. They're 24 points behind Colorado for that final playoff spot, but they're 2 points ahead of Anaheim, and they've got a couple games in hand. So there's a good chance they're going to finish ahead of Anaheim. They'll probably end up finishing ahead of Columbus as well, with how things are trending. And, we'll see how the draft lottery goes. On San Jose's side, they're 18, 30, and 1. During this calendar year of 2023, they are 7, 10, and 4. They're 22 points behind Colorado, meaning they're only 2 points ahead of Chicago. And so we'll see how things go for them tomorrow night. Let me know your winners in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I love this time of year because the games are more intense. We start seeing more of the defensive battles, and more games have that playoff feel. So fingers crossed we get that tomorrow, and I'll have that to report to you about tomorrow night and tomorrow afternoon. So let me know your picks. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.